how's it going? Well, yeah, I'm back at my obsession. It's May 29th, 2017. I'm glad I can laugh. I really am. Because I'm certainly, I don't know. If there's one thing I'm obsessed about, it is actually caring a lot about this game, or caring about people, or caring about the community, or caring about YouTube, or I don't know what it is. I really don't know. Um, but let's see what happened tonight. So I ran a session today from 2 to 6 p.m. Been doing it now, but trying to do as many as three a week. Looks like I'm going down to two. I'm not too happy about it. And sure enough, I was already in a, well, I don't know if I was already in a bad mood or I got into a worse mood, but then I realized that around 8:15 my phone was ringing and I realized I had totally forgot of my son's soccer game. And that's why I changed my schedule to begin with. Sometimes my memory, I'm on medication now. It's not the kind of medication you might think that, like schizophrenia or I don't know. There's all kinds of medication that people are on for various reasons. I'm on medication for seizure like or epileptic like seizures, although I'm not technically an epileptic. So I'm on medication that what can it do for me? There's plenty of side effects for this kind of medication, and the only thing about this medication that I'm on, and the reason why I want to let you guys know why I go off the way I do sometimes, or why maybe I am the way I am, or whatever, or why I waste part of my night, or whatever the hell it is. One of the major issues with the medication I'm on, besides, I guess, bad gums with my teeth. I guess the major issue is memory. And what happened tonight? I'm used to patterns. And if something changes in my patterns, suddenly I'm like, whoa, what just happened? Well, today was a holiday in the US, but it was also a holiday for me. But this was also the start of another change. Number one, there was a part of me this weekend that was thinking I was going back to work today. Fortunately, I didn't drive to work. I wasn't that bad. My memory isn't that bad, but there was something else that started today and I totally forgot about it, and that was my son's soccer. So I wasn't happy about it, but I don't know if I was in a worse mood before or after. But I figured, I got to vent. I got to get this out of my system right now and try to get this over with. Um so I was looking, besides money, I took a look at my internet issue. I mean, there's a lot of things, but yet there's about a lot of things that I've been very thankful for. Like within the last, I don't know, 24 hours, I got tons of information and helpful hints from the community. So I guess that's why I still do what I do. So I try to pay it forward. Anyways, let me show you what ticked me off tonight. And it came from a subscriber. I don't get paid for subscribers. So I mean, if you subscribe, thank you for subscribing. If you comment, thank you for commenting. But this is my internet usage right now. And as you can see, I'm about halfway through my billing cycle. And I got about 10. I usually every live stream I go for 4. So what I do, I spent another $5 on, I upped my limit back from 75 to 100. This is before. So that's done now. I know that I'll be out of that within a couple, days. Who knows? I won't be tonight, but I do a lot on the internet between uploads and downloads. Uploads are mainly the live streams. Yeah, I could go ahead. I can edit the videos and make them all pretty, and I've already started changing my headers or my thumbnails or whatever the hell that stupid thing is that shows up on your live stream. I wish the video used to do it until I started adding thumbnails to YouTube. Something else I'm not too pleased about. But so I got these generic um, thumbnails or whatever that's in there right now of an actual screen picture just to change things up and whatever. So, but that's that. So I upped that up. Went in. It was like $5. I got more issues than $5 a month. Believe me. I got SiriusXM charging me when they said they notified me that my service was up. I mean, I had to pay for. Oh yeah, I had to pay for. Yeah, I gotta love my birthday that just went past. You gotta pay for license renewal. You gotta pay for sticker renewal. Like Jesus, never ends. There's nothing I like about my birthday. There really isn't. It's like one, and of course, I bought my car around the same time my birthday, so that's why SiriusXM. Hey, let's renew your subscription. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, happy birthday to me. But that was a while. That was back on the 16th. So now I'm seeing the after effects of that. I'm like, great. So that making me. I'm already trying to cut my expenditures. I don't need to add to them. The only thing that was good about it was I got a tax refund around this time of year, so that was good. But, anyways, this is a train sim forum post. I'm not mad at this at all. This was somebody who's looking for information, not too sure about different things. So what do? I post a very lengthy message. Get a lot of help, like very, very supportive, etc. Still wants to know a little bit more information. I hadn't replied to them, but then I replied tonight. In fact, I went through so much detail that I basically almost didn't get my session started at 2. I was that far behind. I did that because I like helping people. I'm not a social person. I'm not a very, I don't know what you call it, social butterfly, or I'm not a people person, I guess the word is. But I try to help people out. Sometimes I'll be brutally honest with people. If something's bothering me, I'll tell you it's bothering me. So when I see something, a lot of people say it's like, don't major on the minor things. Well, yeah, that's true. Why waste time on it? There's better things to do tonight. That's true. One other symptom of my medication is let's see, depression. Been through that once or twice. Not too bad. Got through it. Good thing about being an only child is you don't have to worry about that stuff. You get used to being alone, and that was where my depression came from, actually. Well, I've been alone for a long time. I've decided on my own accord not to date somebody for the past 3 years. There's been times where I've thought about it, but I get to see my son once in a while. And you think I would have loved the opportunity tonight to see him, and stupid me decided to somehow forget. I don't know if I got caught up in this YouTube thing tonight, or maybe that's what drove me away from it and I got all worked up about it. I'm not sure. There was other things I was doing. I was supposed to have. I was looking at some YouTube videos around 6 o'clock this evening, and then I went. I was supposed to get there for 7 to 8. I changed, and I knew my Mondays. I've already said it. My Mondays are shot now because I'm going to see my. So what I do, I missed my kid's first game. He had a few saves. He was playing goaltender. His team won 8-0. He's okay. He was fine with it. He knows. He knows I love him. He knows that I accidentally forgot, and I felt bad about it. Man, bad. It's like, oh. So it hasn't been a good evening. I would have much rather been at work in some parts of this today. Believe me. And tomorrow's going to be a tough day. So what started some of this backlash, I guess, and I've already went on YouTube. And I don't know. Like I said, I was going through YouTube, and my video showed up on one of my recommended. It's kind of weird. You post a video, and all of a sudden, your own videos start showing up on recommended. So I started look. No, sorry. I read my email. Anytime I get a comment in YouTube, it goes to my email, and I try to reply and read all the comments. The problem is, and this is called triggering, somebody who doesn't have anything good to say or is, not very constructive. Like, you tell me, guys. Maybe I'm losing it. Maybe one other thing too is I overreact. Okay? I take things very personal. So I know what it's like. Now I could have gone so far as to block this person. I found out he was a subscriber. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to send her out, but I want to just get this off my chest because it's just like I don't do this to I don't get paid for this. I mean, I could just go single player and have fun. Instead, what am I doing? I'm doing it for pretty much one person right now, and myself, especially myself. But I just keep on going on, and we do our thing, and we hopefully we benefit each other, and that's about it. I can relax. I don't have to run every session, running every local that possibly needs to be made. So today I was just relaxed. I was not worried about it. I'd sit there, wait for some of the main lines to get through, use the lead. And there was no, real purpose as far as what I was doing. Um, the whole random system, the whole generating system of how Run 8 does things. And I was mentioning this a lot in my video today about some of the things that is so imperfect and some of the ideas and plans that I want to do. Basically, I was just like, okay, well, I'll wait for these trains to go through and then I'll go ahead and I'll switch a line and I'll switch it from the end. That doesn't mean that I have to go all the way around, flip the other end, and go through hump yards and all this other crap. I already did that the other day to get some of the cars into the yard where I wanted to. So I'm still learning Selkirk. And most of all, it's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be this whole serious business of being perfect with switches. I mean, I watched, for example, I saw Jerry towards the end, and I thought, well, if I was Jerry, I would have brought out the whole train and then grabbed the one car, pulled it off, and then do it. That's how I would do it. I've been to a model railroad club where somebody told me, well, why didn't you do it this way? Why didn't you do it this way? Why didn't you do this? Why did you do this? Like, shut the hell up. I'm the one that's doing it. I mean, it's okay. It's great to be constructively criticized. That's fine, and just say, hey, you know what might have been a better. See, when you say that, when you word it a certain way, and you sound more constructive in your criticism, and saying, you know what might be a good idea. You can do this, and it gets lost because you get people with keyboards who just type in whatever they think in their mind. And believe me, I'm unfiltered too, but I try not to be unfiltered, derogatory towards people, or make myself feel like, well, here I would have done this because this is how I would do it. Well, good for you. That's great. So this was my video. No, that's my video right now. Excuse me. Do I have to go into it? Yeah, I'll go into it. So this is the post that I read. It's up on YouTube right now if you want to see it. And I think this was 3 hours ago, so it was like around 9, 8, 7:30. Of course, 3 hours ago was when I should have been out at soccer with my son. That's what ticks me off about it. And unfortunately, this person's got the brunt of it. And he's got his own life, probably doing his own thing. He's like, I don't know what the hell he meant by it. Probably meant nothing about it. Did he try to trigger me? I doubt it. Maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe it was just the way he worded about it. Maybe he's just, I don't know what it was. And I mean, I get people, I go into all these videos, okay? I'll show you more about this. I'll go into all these various videos of various political stuff and I'll post my opinions and it's, that's where I'm asking for trouble. When I go into those videos and start making comments, man, you should see the YouTube keyboard warriors that'll go in there and act all tough and talk shit to you. But this is my channel. This is a hobby. My forums, they're supposed to be all respectful and everything. And it's great. It's great that we learn from each other. I was gonna like I said, I was going to try to suggest it may have not have been the way I would do things, but I was going to suggest to Jerry, well, why don't you try doing this? Because what I would have done, I'll say this, and I didn't say, I don't even think I really mentioned it, but when I asked him, I says, why don't you take the whole train out? Because it would have been easier to, at least for me, I would have got the one car, I would have took it out, um, basically backed it onto the last car to set off the one car. I would already be on the main line, I'd come back in, grab my cars, and get out of town. It would have been that quick. And that would be it. But I didn't really say much about it because really it didn't matter that much. Because if it didn't matter that much, why bother saying it? You know what I mean? And so, anyways, this is the post. There's one comment. I had some really good constructive comments the other day. Lots of information, people telling me about how basically how I was wrong, and I asked for people to tell me if I was wrong at certain industry analysis or something like that. Let me know. Let me know, and people let me know. That's great. I'm very appreciative of finding out that, oh no, the this industry takes loads, or industry takes empties. That's great stuff, because that's constructive for me, because then I can say okay. But then here's the comment that I saw. And it's like, why the obsession? Right there, the way that's worded, why the obsession with fouling the main line on the west end of the South Yard? You could have had that train pulled apart and ready to go in less than 10 minutes if you would have worked it from the east end. Then it would have been easier to turn your power around by going through the hump. Wow. So you know, now am I overreacting to be a little pissed by that comment? Am I being triggered? Probably. So basically, I said, it's not my first rodeo. Do you understand what I'm trying to accomplish? I was out there about 3 times. So I don't even know which one he's talking about. Um, like I said, towards the end, I wasn't even running the train. One car might have been came through, brought back, whatever. The other time, like I'm trying to remember. I got the engines and I turned them around the loop. I had to go that through that way anyways. So I asked him, like, be more specific. Like, what are you talking about? I was out there 3 times. What time was it that I was so obsessed about being at that end? And if I have a train, well, I'll get to that in that. But if you're talking about the end where I simply had to get the one car off the westbound out of town, which he probably isn't. He's probably talking about something earlier, because I looked at the video again. I was trying to figure out what the hell is he talking about? About where I was on the line. I understand that I was switching from that end, but I also screwed up the night before. And I admitted to it. And it's just like, if somebody had posted a joke about it, I would have been fine about it. I would have thought it was funny. I can laugh at myself too when I make mistakes. Um, I laugh when others make funny mistakes, like Jerry or somebody who all of a sudden today, yeah. Oh, this was a good one. He went over he went over, and I laughed at it at the time, and I thought it was hilarious. He had a restricting signal. Well, the rule for the restricting signal is if you're supposed to brake within half a distance of an obstruction. And he came through and he went right through. I've done it before myself. Of course, this isn't the real world, so things change a little bit, and you got to conduct your yeah, you got to be really very specific to the rules. You can't be fooling around or looking at a dispatch board or something like that, or texting, which basically is the messaging. he went right through his switch, and I made a comment on it. He goes a spring switch. I thought that was perfect. But so wasn't really running. So if you're going to be critical of something I'm doing, at least be specific of what more you're talking about, so I could tell you what my obsession was all the words. See that word obsession? That just felt derogatory. Didn't seem jokingly. There was no happy faces. There was no nothing in there. Of course, I thumbs it down. Didn't mean nothing. You know, I got two thumbs up. I didn't have any thumbs down, so apparently it wasn't that bad. Um, or then I made the comment since he was going to be derogatory. I thought, and he's a subscriber of mine. Like I said, I don't get money for this. I don't care. I mean, you want to subscribe? Great. You don't? It's okay. If you want to leave, that's okay. But are you the type of Rail fan that knows it all, or are you the type of Rail who knows it all? Either way, I'm not a Rail, don't know it all, and do this for fun. Because there's two types. There's the Rail fans that think they know everything there is about how railroads work, and they like second guessing everything. They'll second guess anything a prototype railroader does. I've seen them do it. I laugh my ass off when I see it. It's, oh, why is it taking so long? Why I could have switched this in so and so minutes, and so many moves, and blah 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 blah. And then you got the rails who are, trying to show how great they are. Say, well, yeah, but you could have done this and you could have done that, and you got. I've been to a model railroad club where this guy was like this all the time. I was like, shut the hell up. It's like, I do this for fun. I'm not doing this to be, like shortest number of moves and blah blah blah. Who cares? So I went back about an hour later. By then, it's like, by the way, just so I'm covered all my bases here, more proof that one, there was just two of us. Um, Here's more proof that one, there was just two of us on the entire server, or the entire crew or whatever. I'm still learning Selkirk. And three, I make mistakes. Assuming you watched at the beginning of the West End was buggered up because of the kicking cars that rolled out and fouled the lead. This took place last session. Now, previous videos, I also said the reason why I'm over here, and the reason why I moved all the cars over to that yard was because of the lighting. I'm not the one who designed the lighting. And I say a lot of things about Mikey. Mikey's very hard skinned, a lot more hard skinned than I am. And I couldn't see diddly squat. And the flashlight is great and all, but it's not good enough to really do a lot with. And yeah, you can use it. And if you're lucky, we had a moonlit night the first night when we came back on. So we were able to see something. We were able to just, be able to see. He was able to do his switching, and he switched over on the local yard and everything. It's way the hell over on the other side of the main line. So the reason why I brought everything over was because the hump was no longer active, and I thought, well, I might as well just move it over to that yard. It works well. I can't tell you how many times that yard lead is very inactive. But here's the kicker, okay? And I'll tell you this in a second. The whole server is currently designed so that one person can work the entire route. Just because two of us are around doesn't mean I'm in any huge hurry to work a yard. The priority traffic continue to get through, and for me, that's all that mattered. So there is no rush. Like I said, it's designed for one person. There was one person that was already switching. I was doing the extra work just for the sake of doing it, trying to get a good idea as far as how much one person takes the work. That's why I have a 72-hour cycle right now. I'm not switching it daily. We don't have enough people to do it daily. And no matter how efficient myself and my colleague gets, we're not going to be able to do all the operations even in a small place, a smaller operation than, say, California, that is Selkirk. So I'll show you one other thing here. Out of this, I'm going to just close that up. And I know, I mean, I could be on deaf ears. I could be being triggered. I don't know what the hell it was. Maybe I've taken it the wrong way. Maybe he misspoke. Maybe I don't know. Whatever. It just pissed me off. It was the wrong time, wrong, bad day. This didn't go well. So this is this wonderful convoluted, whatever the hell you call it, yard. Now, when you take a look at the layout of California, and I'm not the only one who said this. Actually, Jerry mentioned it too, and I've had others mention it. The flow here is horrible. It is not the easiest flow to work. Syracuse is also very similar. I don't know what it is about CSX. I don't know if it's. I mean, even I'm trying to remember if A-Line has as much issues in Jacksonville. I can't remember. Okay. I've learned recently that there's a north and south switcher here, so that could explain some of the potential, or at least that's what I've heard. I don't know, what's good, what's true, what's not. So you have this big lead down here, and I think this is now, if this was constructive criticism, if I saw a post that said, I wonder if it would be easier for you to have a switcher switch the east end so that you don't tie up the mains so much. Not some, I don't know what your obsession is with the west end. But you could have had this done in 10 minutes if you had done this and gone through the hump and went here and blah, blah, blah. Okay, wise guy. Maybe you're right. Maybe if I looked at the map more and wasn't paying attention to the dispatch board and wasn't caring about what else was going on, I could have taken a look at that and said, he could run through down here. Well, you got your engines here, first of all. He's got to get it back out onto the main because he's in here to begin with. This is all clogged the hell up. So I have to come out onto the west main anyways because I'm using this freaking yard. How am I going to get an engine out of there when... Now, I don't know if he's talking about when the east... I have no freaking idea what he's talking about, first of all. So be more specific. In a 4-hour frickin' video, tell me what the hell you're talking about. Obsession with the West End. Got nothing to do with Obsession. I screwed up the other night and I had this all buggered up. So I couldn't go into this eastern end of it. Originally, I used this local yard here. Well, it's way the hell over here. It's way the hell away from the mains. But once more, or furthermore from that, the trains that come through. Now, here's a question that I'm not sure and I'm very curious about. And that is, do these mainline trains actually come through? And I asked this in the video. Do these mainline trains actually take the what do you call it? It's on the dispatch board. I don't know what the hell it's called. Not the north departure. It's not the top end. But they come through Unionville. It's not called 5 Main either. The name of it was in here. Is it Fast Freight or something? Yeah, I guess that's it right there. Track 2 Fast Freight. I started looking at it. Now, mind you, 10-mile-an-hour speed limit by the looks of it. Or at least that seems to be the speed limit of the main, so I assume that's the speed limit of the yard as well. At least through switches. I would imagine at least through switches, 10 miles an hour, maybe 15 in the yard itself, but the main seemed to be under 10-mile-an-hour speed limit from, this section right here. So coming in, going through those switches. So I imagine it's probably just due to the switches. I'm not positive, or it has to do with the actual limits. And this is the limits that you need permission to get through on a mainline train, despite the fact that the signal's against you or whatever, according to the rules or whatever of the line. So I'm not sure about that. But I began to wonder because here's the issue that I was having. I had all these trains that would constantly pop up, unrealistically, by the way, and I've mentioned this. I got a spawn area right here. Well, there's the various spawn areas. I have one I'm using right here. You have two of them. I choose the one in the siding, so the trains will start spawning from the river sub here. The other one I use is over here. Now, I ran a train east on this to get around one train earlier, Jerry's train to go up to Hudson. I ran it there, and I saying I say it's probably what I did was dangerous because it's against a spawn location, and all of a sudden a train pops up, boom. But so you have all these trains jockeying for one piece of track. That one little piece of track right there. That goes over that bridge, comes over here. So you're all jockeying for that one piece of track. Okay? Now, had I been able to get around and do a runaround, I certainly would. The problem with the runaround, I'm trying to remember exactly how much room you have. There's very little room to come out here. I'm not even too sure if you get two engines worth up to that first switch or not. I can't remember exactly. I do know that you can do it here, and you certainly can do it over here. You even have room for a few cars. So it is possible. You can give yourself have a signal going either way, you'd be fine. I've looked at doing the receiving yard. Now, the reason why I chose the south departure yard was one, it was close enough to the mains. Two, after it gets dark and you're not on a moonlit light, this section gets dark. Many sections in the receiving yard also get dark, with the exception of this area. This area right here is lit pretty good. This is really lit good, like, because everybody needs to know how to service their engines to operate this properly. I mean, insert a joke there. The hump, you do not have any lights in this area, but you have a lot of lights where you're doing the trimming. Unfortunately, that doesn't help a hump operator trying to monitor the capacity of the hump tracks because he can't see diddly squat over there. But anyways, I'm not using the hump at the moment. So there's a lot of lighting issues when it comes to darkness here. I haven't actually seen this area, but I made the choice after the sunrise. I thought, I gotta find a better area, and then I thought, why don't I just use the south departure? All I got here, the only thing I have to deal with is a supply train that comes from the east. He'll come into here, and he comes right into here, okay? The only set off he's got is the stuff that's going the way the supply train works, and it's not a prototypical train. I already know about that. It sets off cars for switching in Selkirk or Hudson only. Everything else heads west, and it's already blocked the way the industries do it. So there's not much switching to be done here. I had two trains worth that were set up for Hudson. I had already screwed up the one, so I had a little bit of extra work more than normal. It wasn't a big deal, but I could not get out this way, and you still have to get out this way. So yeah, and really a lot of times this main is available. We've just been getting a lot of, for whatever reason, the random traffic gods have decided to start throwing us a lot of trains, which also is a situation where I have to look at scheduling again. So there's a lot of things that are running prototypical and a lot of things that aren't running prototypical. Probably more not prototypical than prototypical. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish. That's my obsession. My obsession, unfortunately, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, whether it be good or bad, my obsession comes through trains and doing what I love to do, and that's this. Is this going to stop me from doing what I do because of one comment on YouTube? No. But it got me on the one night that I was already in a bad mood. I got set off even further. It got to me even more because got into a worse mood. Before that, I was in a fine mood. Everything was fine, everything was good until I realized, ah, crap. Everything, different things going on, maybe because I have to go back to work. And I went down at 8:30. I tried to get on to California server. Well, they're not running tonight. Or they're not running with a dispatcher tonight. So that kind of dumped my plans. That's my fault for not checking. It is the way it is, but yeah, so that's about it, and I've just wasted most of my remainder of prime time. But it was nice to get that out of my system. It really was. So, I don't know why I do the things I do sometimes. I don't know why I put myself up. Could I have easily blocked that person? Yes, I could have blocked the person. And yeah, you're hearing me vent, and maybe I'm on deaf ears, and maybe I'm going to get thumbs down, and maybe I'm going to get people unsubscribe, and I'm getting people, I don't know, uncomfortable or offending people. I don't want to offend people. I'm not out to offend people. All I'm saying is, if you're going to make comments and criticisms, I mean, do so with some respect. Seriously. I mean, telling me I'm obsessed. Why are you obsessed with that? I mean, I don't know who the hell you are just because you subscribe to me. I mean, when I say that to you, that's like going to a total stranger. Think about it this way: I go to a total stranger. Hey, why are you obsessed for walking a certain way down the road? I mean, if this guy's got, I mean, for all I know, that guy could just pop me in the mouth. I mean, I'm not saying he would, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know who these people. Just because you subscribe to me doesn't mean I know who you are. I mean, you subscribe to me. Okay, great. But everybody thinks because they're on a computer that they can just go ahead and say whatever the hell they want. And yeah, granted, I take that privilege. But then again, this is my channel. This is my YouTube channel. You not invited to come here. You just come here because you want to come here. I put the invitation out. People come here. Blah blah blah. Okay. If you don't like what I got, you go someplace else. You unsubscribe. If you like hearing me shoot from the hip or try to or I'm entertaining, great. Come and see me. I mean, I could I could start political. I see guys who do political YouTube videos all the time, and man, did they get attacked all the time. I'm like, man, I could really start going to town on political stuff. And I could. But they have what they call, I guess they got people who just like to, I don't know, they like to push people's buttons. Yes. But, maybe that's just too much for me. Maybe I need to get away from it. I don't know, but I do this for my obsession is to try to help people. To try to, if I can entertain people or if I can do something to help, great. Other than that, it's like, you know, I don't get it. I don't get why people have to be so obnoxious and so rude. And I mean, it's not a big deal. It really isn't. I'm just in a bad mood. So, somebody got into the brunt of my bad mood tonight. So that's the way it is. I don't know what I was gonna go else. What else do I have to do on, man? Nice to get out of my chest, though. You'll believe me. I guess that's why I do what I do. Nothing else going on. Let me just check my YouTube channel real quick. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to take a look through this video. Why do I bother is on now. It's nice. Do I have to go to my channel? I guess I have to go to my channel. While we watch advertising. I want to take a look through this here. So that was at the end. Might as well just do this anyways, see Let's see if I can make some sense of all this. Let's see here. Well, that's going to go double speed. And I broke a bunch of couplers. I went around. Yeah, I can't even remember what it's all about. Trying to figure out the broken couplers. Hold on a second. Yeah, see, now it's too fast. I can't even figure out what I was doing. This is the first 20 minutes. So far, I'm in the yard, so I'm not exactly sure. Am I trying to get the I'm not trying to remember if I'm trying to get the cars together. AMD, which is supposed to be AD, but the COC, this yard throat right here, that was from the other night. I want to show you that for a second. See, I finally pulled them out. That was around the 29-minute mark. So that was out of the way. Then I could work at the other end. See? 25 minutes in. There's no way. I got no switchers. I got one engine that's over this way. This is what I wanted to show you. Dang it. Of course, everything goes by so freaking quick because I got it off here. Let me just turn that off. Go back to normal. So yeah, there was that one engine that I added. I was going in to pull out the cars so that he could come around, which of course he was going to be leaving east anyways. That's what I wanted to show. So everything goes through one line here. Oh yeah, this is where he took off westbound, I think, or he was heading back east or something like that. I was expecting to be in the yard. He went. I couldn't figure out where he was. I was at the beginning of the session, but everything here, whether it comes out of the departure yard, inbound, whatever, it gets clogged up in here. If I was to go into the north departure yard, and I have westbound, and then these are manifests. And I have westbound intermodal trains or eastbound intermodal trains or auto trains or whatever, especially if they're coming up, and which will happen is they'll back up here. So they're holding here to access that one long stretch between FB and SK. Once they get to SK, then they got, you got double track here, Berkshire and River Sub. But there's that long stretch there that's just single track. Now, there's a possibility. I've seen trains run through yards before. I don't know if that's always the case or if they do that in more extreme situations or if that's a normal thing they would do. There's a lot of reverse switches, but that really doesn't matter at 10 miles an hour anyways. I'm just not 100% sure what they do in that case. I'd have to look into that or hear from you guys. So if I'm doing something wrong there, that's great. But as far as that goes, I was looking in tonight. I was thinking, okay, I can get into drill 1. I can move back into the, what do you call it? Stupid yard. Top end yard for the auto racks. So I have access to get to north end, and I also have access if I really wanted to get down to the local yard. if I really want to, but I don't think I really want to use the local yard in this case. Like if I was humping and things were being drilled out, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, but the hump's not active. I'm just trying to figure out, I really haven't figured out what exactly it was he's talking. I put the thing in emergency, dumped the air, all kinds of normal rookie mistakes. So that's Jerry taking the engines off around the 52-minute mark, getting ready to go Hudson. He took that extra engine. The extra engine was for the switcher Hudson, which I never really took a look at. I think he took everything up with him. And the only thing from this point forward was one car had to be added out of that whole string. And I don't think I was ready to. I talked about doing it, didn't get around to doing it. That's him. So I followed Jerry for, like, I mean, I'm in the cab with him. Between the 1 hour, I could have been working Selkirk. I could have done that at any point. So I'm watching these goofy signals. I followed him between, I don't know what it was, half-hour mark. I'm just doing this because I really don't feel like researching right now, and I had nothing else better to do because my night kind of got buggered up. I'm just going through these things, just give you my thought pattern, just like, okay, this is what I was going to do. And I'm all for suggestions or ideas, constructive criticism, that's fine. So we got one train there. So this is the cars that were already sitting here. Two engines, which I still don't know if they fit. So I brought out the engines the one time. Is that what he's talking about? I don't know. And that was just to use that little loopy loop track thing. But nothing is really set up in Selkirk for, they usually it's big enough to have its own axis. I'm curious what the real Selkirk is. I'll spend a little bit of time to see. Another train coming in. I was watching that. So this is a good view. I don't think you could fit two engines. You might be able to fit it. Obviously, you can fit it there for the first switch, second switch. You really can't do too much. Since these three tracks were full, you really can't do too much as far as a runaround. And when a train's going through, well, guess what? You ain't gonna get to this track. So I still don't get it. Like, am I missing something here? This is at the 3 hour mark. This was waiting for this one train to get through. To possibly make a move, to possibly start a westbound move. And this was a very busy section of traffic. And when you have intermodal traffic or whatever else is going on, that's going to take priority. I'm trying to run intermodals around manifests out on the main line all the time. So I'm not too sure. And if I had a switcher at the other end, well, yeah, that would make sense, but this was supposed to be the train that was setting off its move. Ideally, if I was to do this, let's say in an ideal situation, and this is what I've been told, is that track 10 is used. So a main line will come in, and he will come off on 10. That way he can, he may not come off on 10, but he might have a pickup on 10, or he may work off the other end to do his set offs or whatever else he has to do. Also, a lot of times these trains are blocked a lot better. These trains aren't perfectly blocked, but in this case, that's not the issue here. We only had a little bit cars that were left over I mean, there was hardly any switching. There really wasn't. So if I really was that, in such a hurry to get that switching done, I wouldn't have rode with Jerry all the way out to Hudson. I was there to just enjoy the ride. So that's kind of what I do. I just run. I try to make it entertaining for people so they see what's going on. And I thought, oh yeah, we'll run a Hudson. We'll see a couple meets. This at the end, maybe this was what it was all about. I don't know. I was waiting for him to come out. I cannot bring anything out here to do any runarounds whatsoever because I'm already at this end. Considering it's a westbound train that came in off of what do you call it? It was a westbound train that came in. Now by then this is cleared up, as you saw. This was cleared up back in first half hour because he took the whole Hudson train, so that train was gone. So it certainly was available for me to do that engine run around if that's what he's talking about. But I'm not sure. I don't know what he's talking about. Very very lack of specifics. Sorry to say. Sorry to go on about this too. It's just, I guess the point that I'm trying to get with all this is I've asked myself for a long time, why the hell do I do this? And I get, sometimes I get a lot of good feedback. Other times I get blah. Oh, there we go. So he's already on. All right, fair enough. I'll just leave it like that then. So, what else was I going to do? Okay. Yeah, let's see here. Well, that solves that issue. Yeah. And that's all it is. He apologized, pissing my cornflakes, whatever. But that's fine. Oh. I still didn't understand the specifics of it, but other than that, I'm not going to worry about it. That's just, now I'm just wasting bandwidth at this point, but that's okay. What is it, 11:09? It's here. Let me just take a look at the Google Maps here. So I'm curious about the layout of Selkirk. Now I want to get into what do you call it? Of course, there's a hell of a lot more tracks. That I take as the tunnel track. Let me take a look at the satellite for a second. I'm curious about something. Okay, the tunnel track's there. Everything else seems fine. It's just the number of bowl tracks, I think, obviously, is the big difference here. I'm just curious how much room there is on that side. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong side here. What the hell's that? One, two, three, four, five. Double track. Interesting. With there's maybe some of that fly ash. Huh. Sorry, I'm just curious about this now. Now that I'm onto it. Okay. It seems like a lot more tracks for some reason, but that doesn't surprise me. Look at the lead they got there, huh? They got that road. Then they can cut into the main, and then they got 10. I believe that's 10. Just curious about something here. Yeah. Got the right as far as the receiving tracks. I'm just curious about... There's like an old switch there or something. That's not even... I don't know what the hell it is. Maybe they're adding a track or something. Which is possible too. This is interesting how that goes to double, huh? Man, that looks pretty sharp looking. Oh boy. Interesting. Well, everything else looks pretty much, with the exception of holy crap. I guess there's only certain limits you can do with Run 8 is another thing. And I was finding that with the Conrail era as well. You can tell that the yard tracks, or the bowl tracks I should say, they're much much easier to get around. I don't know if the bowl is because of... Well, the bowl looks long, just as long though. 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I don't know. I know he redid the bowl, so I'm not sure if he's actually got it. He tried to gain a little bit of length on the 20 tracks by just extending it, and then he went too sharp at the end. I'm not sure what happened. But I know it causes issues with auto racks and the reefers, which of course I was posting on that one post I had on Train Sim tonight. Was trying to help them out. That was something we were trying to do. But anyways, yeah, I don't want to sound like you know, sour grapes, cornflakes, whatever the hell it is, but you know, like I said, I take things very personally. And maybe that's where, you know, I gotta start doing, you know, not have such a public profile, I guess. If I'm gonna take things personally like that. But I do appreciate the reply. That's good. Now I feel, now I feel like, yeah, now I feel like I took things too personally. Whatever. Had a bad day. I'm just looking to see if there's anything as far as any other differences that I can spot. I'm just trying to figure out how the way it's laid out is just very difficult to get from one end to the other, and the only way I see the best way. Let me see one more strike. That's like through the caboose track, and then you have to go all the way down. Oh boy, I get tired. Lots of switchers. Lots of switchers. I see a lot of open hoppers. Okay, well, I'm not going to keep going through there. because I'd be going through that for all freaking night. Wow, that is a lot of tracks. There's the auto rack, and I saw that the other day. I was looking at that. I noticed that there's that little space in between where the ramps are set up. It's a little bit different. It not a big deal. I mean, either way, it doesn't really matter too much. But I do have that eastbound auto rack coming now, finally. I'll have to put a scheduling system in at some point. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's about it. This is this video. I don't know. I just figured I'd vent a little bit and get that off my chest. Again, like I said, I don't want to offend anybody either or send anybody out. It's just I wanted people to understand why I was doing the way I was doing it, and I don't know if people understand necessarily why I'm doing the way I'm doing things. And it's very difficult with a live stream. I can't expect everybody to just, you know, like follow my life or follow every single video I have. And there are, if anything, as far as obsessions is, you know, my son's very important to me. My job's my job. It is what it is. But you know, basically, Run 8 and my son is my life. And that might sound sad, but it's very simple. It keeps me happy. Both of them keep me happy. My son's gonna grow up, he's gonna do whatever he's gonna do to make himself happy. He's already, there's a lot of similarities with me. He does a lot of same things as I do. He's into trains. We're into video games. There's all kinds of things we do together. But when it comes to me, other than walking around like I did today and basically walking around and getting soaked from a thunder shower earlier today, just before the server came on this afternoon, that's pretty much it for me. That is pretty much my life. Sounds a little sad, sounds a little, I don't know what, but then I get to go ahead and go on a trip for over 2 weeks out west to Vancouver from here. So, I mean, I'm happy with it. I'm content with the way my life is. I could probably open it up to somebody else, or I have that. I've gone 3 years without dating anybody. I haven't worried about it, to be quite honest. What else do I want to say? I just don't want to end on this. It sounds so sad because it's not sad, but yeah. I got a dry throat. Let's see, what else am I gonna do? So yeah, I didn't have too much time other than to vent, and I didn't really feel like going into doing much more work because, quite frankly, I started to ask myself, like, okay, what the hell am I doing this for and why? But I've been asking myself this for a while. As far as the server itself, I'm fine. Going on the server, doing what I'm doing, even with 2 people and just doing what I'm doing, I'm perfectly fine in doing it. There was a couple people that signed up. Actually, there was another person that signed up apparently to run the sessions tonight. Let me just go on that real quick, and then I will end this before it gets way too long and boring, or more than it already is. So I put in the Wednesday session. When I went into now let me log in here. So I just want to clear up another thing too, and I was wondering if this might have been an issue. Manage sessions. I'm gonna go with the user list. Okay, so I noticed before I came on, well, a couple things. Number one, it's in basically the whole Selkirk project file as far as what it says on every session to make sure you link to follow to. I don't let anybody in until Like once the 30 minutes is up, I'm not looking for people to come in and give them access and sign them up again, or blah blah blah. That's just the way I do things. I don't want to be, I'm busy running trains, dispatching. I don't, if you can't sign up before 30 minutes before a session, come to the next one or don't bother. Um, However, that being said, the only people that I ever saw pop up, anybody else can come on and take a look around, and you want to hop on trains, as long as you're not flicking switches and you're not being disruptive or whatever, just come on, ride some of the AI trains, do whatever you want. You can come on my server anytime. I'm curious though what happened here, because there was one Jonah who had checked in for 3:30. I was like, what the hell's that? 'Cause I saw that later. I'm like, huh? I don't know if he's watching my YouTube or what the hell he was doing, but he was, yeah, he never came on. The only thing I can think of is my IP address changes. So you guys got to be paying attention to what the IP address is. That's just the way it is. That is my IP right now. That's not the same it was when we first started. I check this all the time. If it changes, then I'll update this, obviously. Same with the Run 8 servers page, but that's the only reason I could think of. Um, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. And there's trains or runs. As far as locals, like I said before, and this was another reason why I wanted to put this video out other than ranting. The way I do everything as far as this whole setup, when you have a user list, think about this for a second. You've got myself and Jerry. So Jerry comes on. He likes running the locals almost every time, which I'm fine with, because what that does for me is that allows me to facilitate the dispatching, do a little rail fanning, and pretty much if I want to do a little bit of extra, then I can. But I don't have to. I've thought about that a little bit. Do I want to run more? Do I want to dispatch more? I'm actually very content at just dispatching and riding along with some of the meets and seeing some of the activity, and just being a virtual rail fan in many cases. Um, what I was doing today, as far as what little work that I did do, um, was an extra inbound that came in. And yesterday, I started getting the traffic set up for Jerry, so that he actually had a bigger train to take over to ADM. So I did do a little bit of extra work, but the way I'm measuring it, or trying to measure the performance right now, is to see that I have everything that comes in. Let me just pull this up one more time. 11:30 tops. It's 11:25 right now, and I want to call this tonight. Um, let's see here for a second here. Let me go to, yeah. So what's happening is, yeah, you can see now we're yeah, we're getting okay. So we're back on over 24 hours by the looks of it here. Well, 1400, yeah. So that's two. Sorry, just looking at the scope of things. So yeah, we've had a good 24 hours now by the looks of it, and you can see. I wanted to see this as well too. I'm curious. So this is the calls that have happened. So whereas I couldn't get one of those to come out. There's still a 620 passengers. I don't even know if that's all the passengers. I think there's 10 of them. They haven't all been run. I want to take a look at the locals real quickly before I end it. But you can see the intermodals. I've had within 24 hours. I've had four. Well, I guess three. Let's say on average, and three here, and then I'm missing a few here. So I'm getting the numbers that I want. as far as the number of actual calls into the AI system, so that's a good thing. Now, this is so saying that, and I'm going to end this here tonight. And this, if you haven't seen this already, and I know Jerry had asked for it and whatever, I haven't finalized anything, so I'm not publishing anything. This is kind of basically my list. I can put a copy to the list if necessary or whatever. But this is all going to change. This is actually going to change very soon because I actually have some more data that I've received. But here's your Selkirk to Hudson turn. That's 0900. Now you see there's a bunch of 0900s. I can't rely on having so many people show up or not show up. Because if all of a sudden I say, well, yeah, I'm going to run this 24-hour, I'm going to run a daily schedule, and I'm going to run a West Albany to Albany while I run a Selkirk to Hudson, and then while I run a South Schenectady to West Albany at 9:30, and while I run a South Schenectady to Rotterdam, so I'm running 4 locals in the morning. That ain't going to happen. So I looked at that schedule and I said, well, let me split it up into a 72-hour as opposed to 24 hours, and I will serve every industry within a 72-hour period. The supply trains, I basically use 3 supply trains per, I guess, 72-hour cycle of all these industries. So when they come in, I deal with them, or I will deal with them, or I may or may not deal with them. It depends upon how urgent it is. Right now, I had one that actually showed up well in advance of, and the supply train is the one that actually heads off to Syracuse. It doesn't have a symbol yet, and I'm not really using a symbol because technically the real supply trains actually do come out of Selkirk, not out of another location. Anything that's coming in and out of Selkirk that's a manifest is going to be rehumped in Selkirk. So what I'm doing instead is I'm bringing a train coming out of the port sub, calling it just a supply train. I haven't given it a symbol, and that train becomes the supply. It does a little bit of work in Selkirk, sets off the Selkirk and Hudson stuff, and then it goes on to South Schenectady, does it set off for all the stuff for Rotterdam, West Albany, etc. Um, and there's the other one too. This one with Fonda. I guess there's some stuff that has to go there, but it has more to do. I think the Rome stuff I'm gonna have to start setting off at South Schenectady. I'm not positive on that because I didn't have information until recently about some of the Syracuse trains and the stuff that gets switched at Rome. A lot of this stuff, unlike, let's say, other servers that might like to switch every single industry, I'm not doing it for 2 reasons. Number one, I don't have the manpower, and number two, more importantly, is those industries are not being served on a regular basis. Not every industry is being served. Even in 2005, not every industry was being served. So I'm going to go through some of the data. I'm going to go. I still have to go into Syracuse. Syracuse. I still have to go into Albany area and check out those industries, see what they're like. I've done everything except one in Selkirk that I missed the other night that I forgot about on the north end. But we'll see. I may use the 2 switchers in Selkirk. I might just go with one because eventually I have to get it over anyways. So who knows? But again, sorry for being a I don't know what you would call me, party pooper. I don't know. But no, I had a vent about that because I just, whether it be, somebody pissing in my cornflakes or whatever. But it is what it is. And like I said, if something bothers me, I'm gonna speak my mind, even if it's somebody I have no idea who it is, and if it just ticks me off. Most people will say, "Why? Well, why did you let it bother you? Why do you let those things bother you?" Well, unfortunately, I had time to vent about it, so I figured, well, I might as well vent about it. And maybe people will understand me a little bit more why I do things the way I do. I guess. Anyways, gonna end that on a better note. So sorry for offending anybody or whatchamacallit, but I'm out of here for now. I'll be back on Wednesday with a session. I don't know, I might be back around tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be able to vent and get this out of my system and get back to normal tomorrow. Should be fine. I just didn't feel like doing anything else tonight because my plans got kind of screwed up as of probably 7:30ish tonight. So anyways, enough of this. I don't have the bandwidth for this anymore, as you've seen. So we'll talk to you later. Have a good one. We'll see ya.